Welcome to episode number 33 of the Blitz Take. I am here with Eagles insider Dave Spadaro, recapping the Eagles and the NFL draft. I'm happy to have you on and can't wait to hear your thoughts on what happened.
Thanks for having me. And my thoughts are that I'm really excited, just like everybody else is. It was a great weekend. And, now we see how they all fit in. It doesn't always work out the way you want it to work out.
Yeah.
But I think when I met you on Thursday night, we never would have thought that it would be Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith and Sidney Brown and Keely Ringo and Tyler Steen and DeAndre Swift, etc. It was quite a weekend for the Philadelphia Eagles, and I think everybody's really excited about it. And now we see how they fit into the team.
What are your thoughts on the undrafted free agents?
Yeah, we haven't announced those players yet, so I don't have any comments on them until they sign contracts. Alex, they're not Eagles, so I don't really have any thoughts on them. But I will tell you that it's going to be very hard for anybody to make the roster. This is a pretty good roster so far.
Yeah. What areas and positions groups do you think the Eagles could still improve?
I don't know. Linebacker.
Yeah.
Safety. I think they've done a really good job addressing all of the positions. Gotten a lot better at running back, I think, better than last year. I think they're deep at quarterback. I don't know there's not I think coming out of the draft last year, you'd go, okay, they've done a really good job here, but boy, it would be nice to get a cornerback. I think if you look at this roster right now, you don't really feel that. So
yeah,
it really hasn't that thought really. I know Howie's always going to look for things, but I just don't see how. There's no glaring position that really jumps out at me.
What's your expectations on how training camp is going to go?
Yeah, it's going to be great. I mean, look, I don't. A guy like Nolan Smith to get on the field, he's got to do a lot of great things, and I think there's excellent competition. Tyler Steen, is he going to be a left tackle, a right tackle, a swing tackle, a guard tackle? How's he getting on the field? Jalen Carter is not walking into a starting job. Jalen Carter's got a Fletcher Cox and Jordan Davis and Milton Williams, etc. in front of him. Sidney Brown has Terrell Edmonds, 5-year starter. Reed Blankenship, who started 4 games last year. So I think it's going to be really competitive. I think it's going to be great. I'm super, super excited about what this Eagles team has done. And I didn't think that it would be possible to, that 2022 roster was so great, right? That team was so great. And just fell a little bit short of the Super Bowl. And to reload the roster like the Eagles did is really impressive.
What went through your mind when the news broke about DeAndre Swift?
Yeah, we kind of knew that was a possibility once you saw the Lions use their 12th pick on Jahmyr Gibbs. I'd always thought, kind of going into the draft, that wouldn't it be great to get just that weapon that you can use in so many different ways? How would they get that weapon? And I know everybody was focused on Bijan Robinson out there. And so I was here at the NovaCare complex when it broke. We got a little advance warning on it. And it's really excited. Obviously, he's a Philly kid, followed his career at St. Joe's Prep, great player at Georgia, 2nd-round draft pick by the Lions. We saw him last season, week 1, second play from scrimmage, he goes 50 yards, 144 yards on the day, 31 yards receiving. So, I was so excited. And I feel like, again, that they added that weapon that you go, All right, you got to deal with, and I really am very excited about Rashad Penny because I know he's got injury problems, and so has DeAndre, but Rashad's such a big, physical, different kind of running back.
Mhm.
And so to get him to come in here, something different, Kenny Gainwell, Boston Scott, Trey Sermon, who I like a lot, this offense, you team him up with Goddard and Brown and Smith and all the things that Jalen does. And this offense has a chance to be really great if they can stay
Mhm.
healthy. So yeah, I was very, very excited then. Still very, very excited now.
What are your thoughts on the transition from the players that played in college, like Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter, and everyone else? Uh, what do you see in them translating to the NFL, and how they can be a big impact?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is good. It is a fact that it's not, you don't just walk in to the NFL and dominate right away, with most exceptions. There are exceptions to that. But the fact that they played in the SEC, the fact that they played at Georgia, the fact that they were stars there will help their transition. The fact that there are so many SEC players here, they all have strong friendships and bonds. And just watching through the years how prepared Devontae Smith was, how prepared Landon Dickerson was. Um, they're not going to be, the moment won't be too big for them. They've got to learn how to be an NFL player, but they come to a very solid place
Mhm.
that's going to help them. And I'm not going to predict anything like impact this or impact that, but I think that they'll make smooth transitions, and hopefully will help the Eagles this year.
Mhm. And my last question is, what is your prediction for the NFC East, and who do you think won the draft? I know the Eagles won the draft, obviously, but which other team do you think won it also in the division?
So, as you know, the NFC East, there has not been a repeat winner since the Eagles won in both 2003 and 2004. And so, man, it's such a weird fact.
Mhm.
And I mean, certainly you would say the Eagles are dominant favorites, and I believe the Eagles are going to be an outstanding team. So I think the Eagles are going to win the division, but boy, that I just can't get past that history, and that there hasn't been a back-to-back winner for so long. But I think the Eagles are a better team. I think the Giants are a good football team. The Dallas Cowboys are always talented. We'll see how the Washington Commanders do at quarterback with Sam Howell. And I mean, I know that there's been a lot of people who like him in the NFL, so I think they'll actually be better than they were last year. I think it's going to be a really competitive division. I'm excited about this division. I'm excited about how it goes. Um, Certainly, I think the Eagles had a great draft.
Mhm.
Again, everything's on paper right now. It never works out exactly as you thought it would. There could be undrafted players who really become outstanding players, late round picks who become Jason Kelsey's, etc. I thought the Giants had a solid draft. I thought the Cowboys had
Mhm.
a solid draft. And look, I mean, Washington, I think Emmanuel Forbes is a really ball hawking cornerback. So I like the way they started their draft. But it's not just about the draft. It's about how do the players react when they get
Mhm.
into the NFL environment? How do they react when they have money? How does a team develop those players? How quickly in this age, we're in an age where, I mean, the Eagles have 6 organized team activities, not a lot of springtime on the field.
Mhm.
Training camp, they don't tackle to the ground. There's only 3 preseason games. So it kind of limits a young player's ability to adapt quickly. So I always kind of wait 2 or 3 years before I see how a draft works out. I would have never expected, I think none of us would have expected in 2020, after the Eagles drafted Jalen Hurts, that Jalen Hurts would become what he's become.
Mhm.
And So give them some time. I respect everybody's personnel departments. I think they work really, really hard. But I think the Eagles clearly had the best draft, and I would say the Giants was just, I would say, a solid draft, Alex. I would say that they were just solid, nothing splashy, but they picked Giants kind of players. So, but I think all four teams have a chance to be better, and as usual, it comes down to the quarterback. And the Giants invested in Daniel Jones. We know how good Dak Prescott is. Jalen Hurts is the most valuable player candidate in the league, and Sam Howell in Washington. We'll find out. Had a good end of the season game there for Washington against Dallas. So I will. I'll be very interested to see how he develops in the summer.
Yeah, it should be a very interesting upcoming season, and I'm definitely looking forward to hearing you online and getting as much information as possible. And I'm really glad that I got to meet you in person at the Eagles draft party. And thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. Great to meet you, and thank you for having me. Good luck with the podcast.
Thank you. Appreciate it.